What's up, family? Welcome back to another episode of the Dag Life Podcast here at the Dinaglar Group in San Diego, California, with your host, as always, Louis Pisano, with an awesome friend and team member here at the Dinaglar Group, Miss Sarah Newcomb.
Mm-hmm.
What up, girl?
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing.
Excited?
Yeah.
I'm pumped to have you on.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you were able to save some time for me today and sit down and chat. Definitely excited to get to know a little bit more about Miss Sarah, obviously the wife, the mother, the realtor, and all the things.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into real estate to begin with.
Well, got into real estate because husband and I were flipping homes back in 09 and 010.
Nice. Great time to be doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it got, super saturated after that with everybody doing it, and it became the thing in San Diego to do. So it just made sense to get my license at that time. I just never used it. So then I was like, I'll keep it because, you work hard to get it.
And everything that we learn on the exam is in real estate anyway.
Yeah. Right. So pretty much just that. And then, moved on. It's just family stuff and, doing life.
Life is definitely a thing. So when did you actually start practicing in terms of like the sales route?
22.
Okay. So going on
almost
about
3 years.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And how's that overall? Like, how was the transition from going into sales for you?
Slow.
Okay.
But I kind of knew it was going to be just because of my personality, and I'm not great at sales. And then I feel like I come across too salesy and had to learn to not be like that.
I used to be like that too.
Yeah.
So I get it. What were some, like when you say you had to kind of change some things and stuff like that, what were some of those changes that you worked on making to not come across salesy?
So I think it's more like internally.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of stuff that like we think we're doing, we're not actually doing. It's all in our head, right?
Sure.
So it's more so of becoming secure in myself and what I'm saying and what I'm doing to feel like that was right. And that was a lot of watching a lot of people here and hearing everybody else and seeing the different perspectives and the things that have happened and everything like that. Mm-hmm. And that brought, I do better with seeing everybody else and learning from them than like reading a book or something. Right.
The same way. And obviously it's one of those things where we're always learning and we always have to be in a growth mindset.
Yeah.
With so many different changes and different personalities to deal with in real estate. So appreciate you for that and proud of you for that. Right? It's not the easiest thing to do, but it's something that we have to do in this industry.
Yeah.
In terms of, and I want to go back to when you and your husband were flipping homes. What was that like, and how many did you flip? Like, what was your favorite part about it?
Oh gosh, I'm not sure if I had a favorite part. Honestly, it was one of those like we jumped into this thing. I don't even know how. Like, my husband and I did not either of us grew up in a family that did anything good with finances or purchased and thought it was an investment. They just did it because it was what you were supposed to do.
Checking a box.
Yeah, and it was more so like it caused so much more grief for the people that we grew up with than something that actually should have gained something for them in the long run. So my husband was like, the wealth is in real estate. Like, that's what we have to do. And we're like, God, 24 probably at the time. Yeah. So like, who's thinking this way, right? And so
kudos to you.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, sounds good. Let's totally take and take advantage of what we have and what we're able to do with what we could utilize for military, because he was military at the time, he was in service at the time, and what we can use to actually put money in other places. Right. So after buying our first home in 2008, that was a complete fixer. It was still back. It was built in 75 and it still looked like it was 75.
How much did you guys get it for?
245.
And what'd you sell it for?
I haven't. It's still a rental.
You still have it?
Yeah.
Let's go. The gift that keeps on giving. Yeah. That's so good.
Yeah. It's a sober living home right now. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So like with that, we got into this, and we had the agent that we had used at the time became a very good friend of ours, and we started investing with him. And he was like, "Hey, we're gonna flip houses," and we were like, great, because my husband is like jack of all trades.
Nice.
And so we started doing that, and it was like four. I think we did a total of four, and one was a modular build,
Okay.
which I would never ever. That was like the worst thing ever.
Why was
To
it so
do.
bad? Why was it so bad?
Oh my gosh, it was because I think it's because we didn't know, nobody knew what exactly we were doing, and it was the first one. But San Diego has so many laws that you didn't buy it here in the state because you can't. And so it was purchased in Arizona and shipped over here, and then we had to put it together, but you had to have a contractor that knew what he was doing to put it together. And just like the whole, like, if it was it's just like every first time project.
Yeah.
Anything that could go wrong goes wrong.
course.
And it took way longer than it was supposed to, but it sold in a week.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so it took, but we were expecting it to be a quicker,
Quicker
turnaround
process,
and
yeah.
everything like that and
Yeah.
whatnot. But it's interesting I don't remember the addresses of all of them. My husband does, though. And so when we swing by, he's like, yeah, that's
So fun.
the one. I'm like, that's weird.
Is he the analytical one?
No.
It's funny because I remember every single address for every single client that I've ever helped buy or sell a house.
Yeah.
Just down to the zip code, each client, the date when we did it. My brain just works weird. I'm analytical in a sense where I have almost a photographic memory.
Oh, okay.
I could write down 100 names from my childhood and list out their birthdays. You can look them up and they'll all be right.
Oh, my God.
So it is very strange, but I don't lead with an analytical personality. I'm very type A.
Yeah.
I process things analytically, but I move and I execute driver-wise.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So my aunt, she's that way. Like,
Okay.
she can remember every address, every birth date, every name of everybody.
Yeah.
And she literally went back like 3 generations for me and wrote down, like,
That's really cool.
my pastor. I was like, how do you know, like, birthdays
It's like a
out of
computer.
every person? I was like, that's weird.
It's a data processing center up there. It's funny.
Yes.
What was obviously a quite the journey, right? Starting out
Yeah.
your own flipping with getting into the sales side. What made you want to jump into it on the realtor side?
So it was kind of like one of those, hey, you have nothing else in your pocket right now, but you've held this in your pocket. And my husband has always been the, hey, why don't you do this? Hey, why don't you do that? You're capable of,
Right.
So I was a notary when we moved back from Italy in 2019, and I did loan signings all through COVID and all of that. Well, after COVID and all the interest rates went up again, nobody was doing any refinances, and that's all I was doing. So that dropped, and I was like, well, what am I going to do now? And so he was like, well, go into real estate. And I was like, okay.
Yes.
That's right.
And here we are 3 years later.
Yeah. Like, sure.
It's a fun journey.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Italy,
Yeah.
Naples.
Oh, no.
Okay. Where were you guys?
Livorno,
Okay.
Pisa.
Got it. Okay.
Mhm.
So apparently, with my last name being Pisano,
Uh-huh.
my last name hails from there, but my family's from Naples.
Oh.
So, yeah, and that's where there's a naval base at.
Yes, there is a naval
Yeah.
basin. Yes. Yeah.
And you guys were in Pisa.
We were in Pisa, so there is an Army base in Livorno.
Okay.
Army Air Force Base. So my husband can go to any base.
Nice.
It doesn't matter. He's not associated with a branch.
Okay.
So
How long were you guys there for?
3 years.
And what was that experience?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids loved it. We did a ton of traveling. Italy's one of those places that if you are there and you want to be and you want to all the people will just take you in.
Yeah.
And my husband was really big in jiu-jitsu, which he still is, and so him and the kids. So they joined one of the gyms out in town, and that was one of our biggest
That's
families there. And they could care less that we were American. And
Tight-knit community.
yeah,
love
and
that.
all the firemen in the station are all nationals, so they're all Italian. And so we had that, and it's really one of those, like, I didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
Kids were they were like, we really want to be around family.
Yeah.
And we can't go home every year. Like, that wasn't an option. So it was like, okay, I get it. I get it.
Wow. Well, I mean, hey, not many people get to live abroad, at
No.
least from the States, right? And it's one of those
Yeah.
things where I actually started the process of filing for dual citizenship.
Yeah,
It's expensive and it's long.
it is.
They told me talk to the attorney 12 to 18 months,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no guarantee. I wouldn't know for at least 6 to 8 months if there's even a guarantee.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a process. I definitely want to do it. Italy's the top of my list, but I refuse to go without a partner.
Okay.
It won't be a solo trip, won't be friends, won't be family.
Yeah.
It's that or nothing to me.
Yeah.
Just because of how important like the homeland is to me.
Yeah.
But I also want to own real estate there. I want to buy a villa in southern Italy. I want to own property out there. Like that is my like top bucket list.
Yeah.
Item. So it's definitely something that I'm working towards.
Yeah.
Obviously coming back to the States and getting into the sales side of things, what was it that brought you to DAG, and what was it about DAG where you're like, okay, cool, this is home?
So honestly, I think I just got really lucky.
As we all have.
Yeah. Because the realtor that we know, that we bought our other property with, that we currently live in, he was with Big Block.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, well, I'll talk to Big Block, because he talked highly, and he'd been with them for years. And I was like, sounds good. He's like, and he really was like, I would totally mentor you. He's like, you're not going to learn as much from me. He's like, maybe Big Block has another group out there that you would actually be able to like kind of have more wings over you to kind of teach you through everything. Right. And so they immediately suggested DAG. And I was like, okay, sounds good. And then that's when I met with you guys, and it's so funny talking to everybody out, like other people, and they're like, oh yeah, I talked to this brokerage and this brokerage and this brokerage. I was like, no, it sounded great. I just went with it. I was like, what harm is it? I mean, I lose out on some cash. I mean, I lose out on cash all the time. I make stupid decisions all the time financially. This wouldn't be any different. I'm like, I can roll the dice and I'm okay with that, because it's not that much that I would be losing out on.
And it's also one of those things where you're never set in stone anywhere.
No.
You can always pick up and move. You could always leave. You could always make a change.
Yes.
Especially in an industry like real estate. Now, that also means don't be the realtor that's jumping team to team every 6 months.
Yeah.
At some point, it does become it's your fault, not the team that you're with. And we say it all the time. But I was the same way. DAG is all I know.
Yeah.
Since day one in real estate. For me, I went through the phone calls with the Kellers, the EXPs, the Compasses, and I went through 3 phone calls with one of those different brokerages, and they're like, "Hey, build us a spreadsheet, literally line for line, verbatim. Put a spreadsheet together of 150 to 100 people. Get your license, give us a call, and we'll meet." I'm like, "Really? Like that's it?" Like, yeah, we have nothing else to talk about until you get your license. I was like, okay. I just felt like a number. It was just like the next person. And it was just a sour taste. And luckily, I grew up knowing the difference between a boss and a leader.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, none of these are a fit for me. I need to find like my people.
Yeah.
And then luckily through Allie, I got introduced to Dean and Aphrodite. And I walked in the office one day. I was wearing dress pants, some nice shoes, long sleeve button down, like how I used to dress in my previous career. And just shooting the shit from Jersey. Dean and F are from the East Coast as well.
Yeah.
We're shooting the shit, and within 5 minutes, I'm just like, I don't care what else you have to say. I love what you're saying. Can I just sign somewhere?
Yeah.
And for me, it just felt like home.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm exactly where I need to be, and I haven't left since day one.
Yeah.
And so many people have had I won't call it a luxury, but the benefit of walking into our doors and never leaving. And to me, I'm prideful of that because that's a testament to the culture we built.
I agree.
And the business that we built for everyone as well. And that's super exciting to hear.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
What has been other than all the fun and the parties, what has been your favorite part about being here?
Honestly, it's just the biggest portion of the training. Because that's what I was really leaning towards and all of that. I mean, but it's not just like the training, but it's who part of the team is talking to you, and it's not even just the leadership, it's others that are sitting at the black tables with us out there and whatnot, and there's questions or whatnot, and nobody, I guess more so, not just the teaching, but it's the personalities of everybody being so open and willing to teach you anything,
share and talk to you,
and not be like hold in and be like, well, no, if I give that information to them, they might steal my such and such,
my secret sauce.
Yeah, and they'll do better than me, or something like that. There's none of that like weird like, ooh,
every man for themselves.
yes, yeah. So it makes you more comfortable in it and makes you want to be more open and help others as well. You don't see very many people in here that aren't willing to like open their mouth up and be like, oh no, so and so, that whole thing.
For sure. That's a huge point, because I hear, especially in my role being the director of growth, is I have so many conversations with agents looking for a new home, and it's because the place that they're at, they don't have that.
Yeah.
They have that people keep to themselves, every man or woman for themselves, and it's people don't share their secret sauce. Or if someone goes out of town, no one will share their clients, because if not, they want to write the offer for them. It's like, it's not how partnership works. So I think we lean so heavily into the partnership and collaboration and the culture of the team, where it allows for that kind of environment.
Oh yeah.
And it's conducive to everyone's growth, not only from a business perspective, but also personal development. And I think that's something that I'm super prideful and proud of for the team, because we see it round the clock.
Yeah.
And it's something to kind of be set for who we are as a team.
I agree.
In terms of like where you're at going on 3 years, what are some things you're excited about in the future, and what are some things you're looking forward to this year?
I think this year is a mindset of actually moving forward. So I haven't done a lot of moving forward in real estate. That's in real estate for business wise. Investing, yes, and that's a separate, entity in life. But moving into actually do transactions and have that, I've changed my goals to make sure that I can make this work for my life, right? And it actually be something feasible in life, and not something that I feel like I'm struggling so much at, but that how there's so many aspects of real estate, right? And there's so many like, hey, you need to do this and you need to do that and you need to do that and that, and you can do this and you can do that, and this will gain you 1 million people and blah blah blah.
All
and
that,
next thing
right?
you know, you're focusing on 25 different things instead of centering on a couple.
Yes. So that was the start of, hey, is this feasible if I just do this right here? Can I still actually make a business out of this and make it so that this will help me on my outside life, still be able to handle everything else that I have to deal with in life? And it's completely. So I'm like, okay, well, that's what I'm going to do, and that's what I'm going to hammer into. And I feel like it's what I've been missing. I've been
trying to do too many things at once.
Yeah, and that's what I do. Yeah. And so I'm like, this little circle right here.
Yep. Plant that flag, and it's all about efficiency.
Yeah.
And I think it goes without saying that when it comes to real estate, just like you said, we can get lost in trying to do so many different things where we never become great at a couple of things.
Yeah.
And centering all that energy and focusing and channeling all that attention towards those 2 or 3 or 4 things, where it's going to be like, okay, this is how I need to build my business.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. And at the end of the day, everybody has a different system of terms of the things that they're going to focus on.
Yeah,
we know there's certain people that they're trying to focus only on sellers because that's their wheelhouse right now.
Yeah.
We know some people that are going more into the flip wholesale process because that's their niche, right? There's, especially when it comes to newer realtors, you got to be first time buyer and open house savvy, right? That's the main focus. So what are those focuses for you this year?
So open house is my focus because to me, it makes the most sense for what else is going on in life. It's the one thing that I can manage 100%. So that's my main focus. We always have solo, but and I'll take what I can from that as going through, because I just got my first referral from a zero client. So so it's there's something,
and it feels good. It feels good when you get that past client. Hey, you were so amazing that I have this friend or family member that wants to buy, and I can't let them buy with anyone else but you.
Yeah.
That feels good.
It does, because I'm like, can you just like me, please?
I did such a good job.
I try so hard.
It's so good.
So open houses are my thing. That and my follow-up. My follow-up has sucked for forever.
It's been an area of improvement.
Yes.
We'll give it a positive spin.
Yes, it is very improved now. And those are two very feasible things.
Mhm.
You
Love
know,
that.
they don't seem huge.
Yeah.
So-
Proud of you for that.
Yeah.
In terms of, I want to go back to what you were speaking at in terms of like making it work around your life,
hmm
balancing being a mom, a wife, and
Yeah.
realtor, investor, the whole nine. How do you harmonize everything together?
I
'Cause there's a
don't.
lot on your
I
plate.
don't. None of it's hard. There's no harmony whatsoever.
No rhyme or reason.
No, I just got done with the doctor and she was like, "You're too stressed." She's like, "Literally, your adrenal glands are so stressed, they're starting to like stop." She's
not let that
like,
happen.
"You need to like kind of control this." And I'm like, "I know, I get it. There's a lot going on in
Yeah.
life though right now." And so I'm just like, it is what it is. I'll stick down, I mean, health wise, and tell me what I need to do and I'll do it, and make that happen. But there isn't, and really, it's not like I have older kids.
Right. It's not
You
like
know-
you're running around with some toddlers.
Yeah, and so I don't even think I could do this if I had, toddlers. And I did. I worked full time when I had them little.
Mm-hmm.
But this is my youngest is 15. So really it's just making sure I get him to high school on time and I pick him up after practice.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's really just working in that. And like if he's home by himself, like it doesn't matter.
15-year-old, right?
Yeah.
It's not like he's 7 or 8.
No, and then the 20-year-old's doing his own thing.
Yeah.
So it's more so just making sure that I have balance of like good relationships with them.
Love that.
As much as I can.
That's good.
And then the husband.
It's important.
But
Do a lot of family related stuff, right?
we do.
Yeah.
It's slowed down a little bit, but we try to do vacations, lots of vacations and things like that.
Is it anything like in
Just-
particular? Like, are you guys more so like mountain people, beach people, island people? What does that look like?
Where go somewhere where we've never been, people.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's the favorite trip? You can't say Italy. What's the favorite vacation you guys have ever been on?
Okay, so we did so right before we left Europe, we took 3 weeks and we backpacked through all the countries that we didn't get to
That's
while
awesome.
we were there. So that would have been my most exhausting favorite trip. Because we really did just pick a lot of stuff that we really, really, really wanted to see.
Yeah.
And as much as there's I don't know. Besides that, my Budapest is my most favorite place.
Really?
Mhm.
I've heard great things.
Mhm.
I haven't been that far east. I went to Spain this past summer. This is my first time to Europe.
Yeah.
First time solo traveling. It was absolutely incredible. Planning Croatia this year. That's the goal for
Yeah.
this year. So that's exciting though. I know you guys do a lot of family related stuff, so I did want to ask.
Yeah.
When it comes to this part of the journey, right, is life takes up so much of what we do, and you guys have had an incredible journey. You've had a long run with kind of your career, family, history with where you're at. You could look back at 18-year-old Sarah, and you can give her one piece of advice, and she's sitting in front of you right now. What would you give her?
Honestly, 18-year-old Sarah, and it may give my husband a lot of credit, but I think credit is their due always, because I don't believe I would be in the position or the place I was in if I didn't marry him. As much of a pain in the ass I am for him,
We all are on some
but-
level.
it would have told her, make sure that, hey, the guy that's one of your good friends, make sure that you marry him, because he's the one that really pushes me
I love that.
and gets me to do things. Like the motivation growing up, I didn't grow up in a home that pushed motivation, that did it. It was do school, go find some job, and just live your life out.
Yeah, check the boxes.
Yeah, there was nothing. And I don't know, my husband grew up the same way, so I don't know why it was so different for him. But if it wasn't for his outlook on things and pushing in certain directions, I would 100% not be where I am right now. I would still be in San Bernardino probably, and who knows what.
Life could be completely different.
Yes, and 100%. So
So are you guys high school sweethearts?
no, I didn't graduate.
Okay.
I was kicked out.
Rebel Sarah.
Yeah.
Love it.
And so I was given the option to move to Arizona and live with my cousin, and so with her and her husband. And so I took that option at 17, and so they gave me the option, you can either go and do your junior, senior year, or you can get your GED. And I said, I'll get my GED and work. So got my GED and they got me a job at a grocery store, got up at 4 a.m. every morning and did the morning shift at a grocery store. And so after that, things just kind of like went, and I ended up moving back to California, and I went to Job Corps.
Okay.
Heard of Job Corps?
Nope.
So it is a vocational school for kids that really don't have anywhere else to go because they have no like road in life at that point. So
Still trying to find your way.
Yeah, so a lot of kids that have been in a lot of trouble and whatnot there, but it's run by the state.
Mm-hmm.
So you get paid while you're there, which I think, so this is back in like 2001, 2002 maybe.
Okay.
I think I got like $30 a week.
A week?
I think.
Damn.
Yeah.
What does that equate to? I don't want to think about that.
It was like, it's like nothing. It was like $20 or $30 a week or every 2 weeks. It was one or the other. But I lived on campus.
Okay.
I originally was living out of my car, and they found out. Yeah, and so I had nowhere to go. So they found out, and they were like, no, we'll find you a bed on campus. I was like, I didn't even know it was a thing.
Damn.
Yeah, so lived there, and that's where I met him.
Wow.
He was also, his family didn't know what to do with him. It was like,
go there.
So he was able to get his diploma, and he got a GED. He's got his both. I was like, why do that? Whatever. And then got his driver's license and never had a driver's license. Yeah, and so so we just became friends. He became part of the group that I was part of. Mm-hmm. And then he joined the Navy, and we just kept in touch.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's quite the journey. It's crazy to think about, like, if you would have made one different decision in your life up to that point, you guys never would have met.
No.
And I'm so happy you told me that story, because when you kind of connect the dots backwards, right? Oftentimes we want to project where we'll be at in life, but you have to live life forward and you connect the dots backwards.
Yeah.
And that's when things start to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you can look back at your life and be like, okay, now it makes sense as to why certain things happen the way they did.
Yeah.
And that's how I've been trying to live my life the last few years, because I used to not live that way.
Mm-hmm.
I've always believed in like everything always working out and everything happening for a reason. But until I heard that quote of like, you can only live life forward and connect the dots looking backwards, it makes total sense for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
And there's so many people that have like regrets about life and the woulda, coulda, shouldas, but it's like, if you could go back in time and change any decision you made, you wouldn't be sitting in this chair. Neither would I. No. It's one of those things where it's like, that's something to look back on and be super happy about.
Oh, yeah. Legitimately in life and that, I don't regret
That's cool.
anything. There's like certain things, obviously, that I regret with like just relationships and whatnot, which you always do. But in like decisions in that past, I don't, like, because I wouldn't know as much as I know now if I hadn't lived the way I did. And I don't know. I don't think I would be. I don't know. I think I'd be way softer and way more sensitive.
Not the rebel Sarah.
And yeah.
It's wild to think about. It's. I'm glad you shared that story. A lot of things make sense now.
Why is she so weird? Oh, that's.
No, weird is good. I love it. It's funny to not funny. It's definitely just enlightening to kind of hear the whole path and journey and bringing people to where they are.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. So congratulations to the two of you and what you guys have built, and obviously your two kids. So it sounds like it's been a great journey.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
With that being said, because you guys do have so much involved with your family and what you've done, one thing we like to talk about, and this will kind of be the last thing to wrap things up, is we talk a lot about legacy.
Okay.
We talk a lot about where we want to be when it's all said and done, what the road looks like ahead, and what we want to accomplish, and how we want to be remembered. What does Sarah want to be remembered for?
Honestly, I don't need to be remembered for anything. I very much so enjoy helping people. It's what I feel like I'm good at. And not just real estate, but in general. I feel like if there is something that I know, if I have a knowledge base, or if I'm able to do something, then I enjoy doing that. I learned that, so I had mentioned I opened that sober living home up in my in our rental property. So never really knew that was something that was something to do, like that we wanted to do with that property. It was always just a regular rental property. And as you come across people and you learn other things and whatnot, we kind of fell into it. And then I fell very deep into it. And I found a calling to not just people that are wanting to, stay sober, but just in general to help people that just are looking to try to better their lives. And I realized I was like, this is something that like is right there. And I've never been soulful. There. Yeah. Anything I've ever done, I've never had that. And I loved being that was one reason I loved being a notary, because I loved being able to help. Like, yeah, you got to do this and you got to do that. And if they have questions, I was able to, and it's such a little aspect of it, but it's still that like.
It's an important piece.
Yeah. And so I, as a person, don't, and maybe that's why I, as a person, don't feel like I stand out. And I have no problems with that at all. And I think that that's probably why I feel like I don't need to be known for anything, because I just want to do what I can for everybody else around me.
And make an impact.
Yeah. And they don't even have to know it's me or even think of me, or I'm okay being the person that's in the back that nobody recognizes or remembers or anything like that. It doesn't bother me in any way. As long as while I'm here, I'm doing my best to help other people move forward in their life and not backwards.
That's amazing.
So
that is very admirable. So kudos to you. It's there's something to be said about everybody has a purpose.
Yeah.
And I think all of us, from a purpose perspective, a lot of the joy comes from fulfillment. And that fulfillment comes from helping other people. Whether it's a few people, whether it's hundreds of people, whether it's one person, the more people we help, which is how the world should be, the better things will feel.
Yeah.
So I love that for you. That's super exciting.
Thanks.
Well, that about wraps up today. Okay. I'm super happy that you sat down with me.
Yeah, me too.
Can't wait to have you on again. Yeah. Appreciate you guys checking out another episode of the Dag Life Podcast. We'll see you next time.